So the playoffs are just around the corner.
Yeah.
We have a lot of teams that are in the race.
Mm-hmm.
In the AFC still, the NFC's fairly settled.
Yeah, for the most, there's only like
Um,
2 spots available, I think. Yeah.
yeah, it's really only one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and it's yeah,
The 49ers pretty much have the one locked
for
up.
the most part, yeah.
So the other one's sort of up in the air. But in that spot, you have some teams that are rising, and we have some teams that are falling.
That's for sure.
So, Lucas, why don't you give me 2 teams that you think are fading as the season
AFC,
ends?
NFC, all over.
Anywhere, just 2
Yeah,
teams.
okay, well, the Cardinals are a big fat obvious fade. Just fade hard. I mean, we've been saying it for like 3-4 weeks, all year. Like, I
Yeah,
just I don't buy it.
yeah.
Fade the Cardinals hard. I mean,
How did they? The Colts had no one
yeah, I
on their
don't know.
offensive line.
I don't know.
They had no one,
The Cardinals are not.
and
They're just not good.
I don't. Anyways, yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with you there.
fade the Cardinals. They're just not doing it. Um, there's a couple other teams that are, yeah. So the Dolphins are currently. I don't feel like they're. I'll point them out because I wanted to talk about their schedule as well. Uh, they're currently kind of in the hunt on the bubble, could make the playoffs. The Dolphins are bad. They're not good. They're on a 7-game winning streak, and it is the worst, most meaningless winning streak ever. They have played no one, and I mean
I
no
did look
one.
at that.
They have,
I looked at the game side by side and went, "Ugh!" Like
yeah.
they
I'm trying to find it here because it is absolutely,
well, they beat the Ravens, and that seemed like a big win. But we have now learned that all you have to do is play zero blitz,
yeah,
and you
not
win.
as big as we thought. Not as big as we thought. So
Yeah.
let's see where it is. Okay, so it's Texans, Ravens, Jets, Panthers, Giants, Jets, Saints with Ian Book as quarterback. That's their win streak. That's ridiculous. So
Uh,
the Dolphins are in the hunt in quotation marks. Fade the Dolphins. They're not good. There's other teams you could fade.
well, they control their own. They control their own destiny,
I
Lucas. If they beat the Titans and the Patriots, then they will make the
they're
playoffs.
not winning both of those games. They're probably not winning either one of those games. Even if they do, they're losing their
Yeah.
first game in the playoffs.
Now I will say I think Tua has played a lot better, and I give him a lot of credit considering the fact that the entire world was talking about how they should get rid of him for Deshaun
I
Watson.
agree. He's done a good job of having a good
What a
second half
row!
of the year.
Yeah, that would be a rough situation to
It
be in.
is.
For me, I would fade. I think the Patriots are fading.
Yeah.
I think we thought we were going to find out a lot about them. They played against the Bills, and it was 40-mile-an-hour winds,
Yeah.
and Mac Jones threw the ball 3
Yeah.
times, and they won the game. Then they go on the road and they get beat by Indy, and Jonathan Taylor just ran all through their
Yes, he
defense.
did.
And then they go at home against Buffalo and just get trucked. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah.
They got
That's a good
trucked
term
by
for
the
what
Bills.
happened there.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like they play the Dolphins at the end of the season. I think they could beat the Dolphins, but also I don't know if they can. I remember the beginning of the season; it was a really close game. So who knows what's going to happen? But it seems like the offense with Mac Jones that seemed so good is kind of getting figured out a little bit.
Yeah.
It's coming back to earth. I also think the last game, Stevenson was out, which like Harris is good and Bolden makes some good plays, but I think Stevenson is where their run game is actually made up. So that was a big loss, I think, for him not to be there. The second team that I'm going to fade, and this may sound surprising. sort of how you said a team fading that was actually on a winning streak. I think the Packers are fading.
Ooh, coming after A-Rod up there.
Yeah, so I mean, well, it's not coming after A-Rod. It's coming. Well, first of all, Aaron Rodgers is playing out of his mind.
He's so good.
He really is.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't make mistakes, but he still makes insane plays.
Yeah.
And he's done it his entire career. Like when they put up the stats where he broke Brett Favre's touchdown record for the Packers, and then they show the number of interceptions.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. So once he's got 30 plus touchdowns, 4 interceptions on the season. That's ridiculous.
It's insane.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's not that he's fading, but I do think that their offense has been struggling. I don't know that the offense really has a true identity, where I think a lot of times last year they did, where it was a lot of run, set up passes with a lot of motion. And it seems like when they're most successful now, it's Aaron Rodgers in shotgun, running motion to get Devontae Adams singled up on someone and throw it to Devontae Adams. It feels like that's where they're most successful. It feels like the run game really hasn't been successful.
Which is weird because they had
much this season.
They had a part in the middle where, and I'm a big fan of A.J. Dillon. I really, really like him.
I like A.J. Dillon a lot.
I mean, A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones together makes sense. It seems like that should really work, but it hasn't quite clicked like I thought it would.
Well, here's the thing, and this is why it's not because of their offense, which I do think their offense has some holes. I don't think their offense is great. I think Aaron Rodgers is great. I don't think their offense is great. But their defense played really well in the middle of the season. Their defense, it kind of gets covered up by the fact that Baker Mayfield threw the ball to them 4 times. Three times, and then the 4th time, Russell Douglas, who I love from West Virginia, he 100% held committed pass interference. How that's not called, I have no idea.
I don't either. That was a big miss. Right? I mean, it's a huge miss. That's a game in the balance miss.
I mean, he's tugging the jersey and pulling
it's
the
all
receiver
the textbook
as the ball's coming.
Telltale signs. All of them.
Yeah.
No flag.
So the defense is not playing well, and the Browns are just stupid because I would have just handed the ball off to Chubb
40 times
and just did hurry up with running dive plays.
I would have went full like Patriots and Buffalo 40-mile-an-hour wind.
They couldn't stop it, dude. They could not stop the run, and this is multiple weeks that we've seen them not be able to stop the run. It happened against Baltimore. They should have lost to Baltimore, and they definitely could have lost to the Browns.
That flag.
And we know that both of those teams are not good.
They're not considered to be on the level that the Packers are, for sure. The Packers should beat both of those teams handily.
Yeah. So I will say this. It is much more important for the Packers to have home field advantage than it ever has been, because without Lambeau Field, they lose to the Ravens, or that was in Baltimore, wasn't it?
I honestly don't remember now. It's all jumbled together.
The Browns was at Lambeau, right?
I'm pretty sure that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, they are not winning those games away from home.
Yeah,
I will say that if it comes down to the Packers and Cowboys, if they're playing in Dallas, I like Dallas's chances a whole lot more than if they're playing in Lambeau.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Lambeau Field's a big home field advantage.
So, yeah. All right, let's talk about some risers. Who's ascending?
Well, I guess I'll go. We'll start with, I'll say Bills are one team ascending. Bills, very high expectations at the beginning of the year. Super Bowl bound, all that stuff. Dipped, didn't start so hot, struggled through the middle of the year. The Patriots look like they're coming back. The Patriots take over the number 1 seed in the conference. However, I think the Bills are bouncing back a little bit. They're on the rise. I don't know that expectations really ever completely fell through the floor, but I certainly think they were lowered. And I think they're starting to rise again now. They beat the Patriots, which was a big game. I mean, that was a big game for them. Um, and so winning that, I think, helps a ton. I think the Bills are on the rise. I still don't know how much I believe them because I still don't think they can run or stop the run. Um, but they are at least dangerous. Um, so I think the Bills are rising. And I I'm gonna go AFC again. I don't I don't know rising, but in my head at least, the Bengals are becoming more dangerous every day. Uh, Joe Burrow's really, really, really good. He had an all-time game this past week. I don't see any huge, massive, glaring weak spots on the Bengals. Like that's kind of the thing. Like their defense is good. It's not exceptional. It's okay. Their offense is above average. Joe Burrow is certainly above average. Joe Mixon above average. I think they've got talent. T. Higgins has come on super strong. Jamar Chase is still playing well. Um, so I just don't see any huge, huge, huge weak spots. And I think they are good enough to beat anybody on any given day. And I'm liking them more and I'm believing them more every week. So I'll take Bills and Bengals as teams on the rise headed into the playoffs.
So I love the Bengals.
Yeah.
There is a riser. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. That is a
Yeah.
fantastic group of really young
Oh, it is. All
playmakers.
so much talent on the edges for that team. Skill positions are loaded on offense.
Yeah. The offensive line seems to be better. It
Yeah,
could get
it's not
improved.
great, but it's not a weak
Um,
spot.
I think that's probably the biggest weakness is when you get in the pass rush. And we know from experience of watching the playoffs when a team has a good pass rush, they can get after the quarterback without having to blitz. It is very
Yeah,
important in the
very, very,
playoffs.
very.
I mean, you go back to the Giants beating the Patriots in the
Yep,
Super Bowl. They did that because they absolutely ran over top of the Patriots offensive line with
yep, they
four
did.
people. They probably could have done it with two.
Yeah.
All right, so my big risers. I'm going to take the
Nice.
Colts.
Yeah.
The Colts have been ascending for a while. I think we all kind of thought they were going to get to where they're at now, and they're there. Jonathan Taylor is a bona fide
Yes,
MVP
sir.
candidate.
He's
He's
better
really
than anyone
good.
thought he would be.
Um, yeah, he's very good. Carson Wentz, as long as he doesn't make mistakes and he makes the one or
Hmm.
two plays that he
Yeah,
has to
and
make,
he's been doing it.
he doesn't have to make. He has been. So hopefully that continues. Um, I still want to know what happened in the Patriots game with Judon, where his quote was that Matt Judon questioned his ability to reproduce. Not really sure what that was about. Uh, I, more context would
Well,
be
yeah.
would be nice. I don't know. I still don't understand what that was about. My other rising team, I think I'll stay in the NFC since you went
Okay.
AFC for two. Is actually going to be the
Ooh.
Eagles. So they've been ascending. Jalen Hurts is playing pretty good. Um, I have to admit I was wrong. Devontae Smith is
Yeah.
legit.
The fact that him and Waddle have both been really
He is.
successful this year is mind blowing to me.
I thought they were
Yeah, I
both going to
didn't really
stink.
like either one of them.
That's mostly because I thought Ruggs. I thought Ruggs and Judy were both busts.
And
So I just assumed that Waddle and Smith were also going to be. Smith
mhm.
is amazing. So if I had to categorize it, I think Waddle reminds me of Landry,
Yeah, I could see that.
and I think Smith reminds me of OBJ.
Really?
Just like they both came from the
Mhm.
same school. They're both very talented and very good. But like I think Waddle's more like Landry, and Smith is more like OBJ.
Yeah, I think more like is true. Yeah.
Yeah, in that
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
comparison, I guess. Um, their defense is still playing great or good. Their run game's very good. I thought Miles
He
Sanders was
is.
injured, so
We'll
that would
see. As far as I know, it's
that's
possible
not
out this week,
uh,
but shouldn't be out long term.
yeah, that's not super helpful. But I think they play Washington this week and then Dallas. So I don't know if they have to win both to get in. They might be able to just win one of them. If so, I think they get into the playoffs because I don't think they beat Dallas.
Yeah, I would agree there.
There, but I would also say Dallas is one of the ascending teams, but I don't want to just layer the entire podcast with me talking
Yeah.
about the Cowboys. Although I will.
You're not above that, huh?
Yeah, like I'll do it. Don't get me wrong. I just didn't want to do it right now. All right. So I think we covered all that.